Shalom. Welcome to the Messianic Hour with Rabbi Scott Sekulow. The Messianic Hour is a program designed to give you insight into the Jewish roots of your faith. Rabbi Scott is also here to answer your questions and help you gain a deeper understanding of Bible prophecy. And now, here's your host, Rabbi Scott Sekulow.
Shalom and welcome to another edition of the Messianic Hour. I'm your host, Rabbi Scott. The show is dedicated to reaching the lost and educating the found. I'm glad you're with us today. I should say with me today. Actually, Judy is not here today. She had to take her mom down to Savannah, Georgia, and they're on their way back as we're recording. And so I am going solo today, but you're going to have a great show because we're going to look at a very special book. It's called The Return of the Kosher Pig. And Rabbi Shapira is going to be our special guest. I got to meet him probably about 6 months ago at a conference, and he and I just really hit it off. And you're going to be blessed by his testimony and this great book that the anti-missionaries, that's right, you know, we have missionaries in the believing world. The Jewish community has anti-missionaries. Their job is to go and bring the Jewish people back to God, but to deny Messiah. And so they're already on this and trying to attack him with it. We're going to be looking at it on the entire show. We're going to be interviewing the rabbi about this. It'll be a great book. I want to read you a quote on the front cover. I think this is great. This kind of gives you an idea. It says, "In the Messianic era, when the true divine nature of every creature will be openly revealed, the pig will stand vindicated as a kosher animal." And you might ask, who is the person who said that? Well, the answer is Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, or the Lubavitch Rabbi. So we're going to talk about that. I want to hear what our brother has to say about that information and how that's going to come about. He's going to convince me on that one. I think the rabbi might be hoping for some sausage, it sounds like, but I don't think that's going to be the case, as we're going to be looking again at this book. I want to again encourage you to visit our website, rabbiscott.com. Remember, we are going to Israel this year, and I want to encourage you to come with us. We're coming June 9th through the 19th. We already have over like 23, 25 people already signed up. It is going to be an awesome trip. We would love for you to come. Doesn't matter if you're based here in Atlanta or wherever you're from. We can fly you either right to New York or here to Atlanta, and you can join the group. It is a great deal because we're getting this year's prices. There is no price increase. We're able to work that out. The trip is all-inclusive. The only thing you pay for is lunch and the tip for the driver and the guide, and any souvenirs you want to buy. That's it. And everything else is included. We don't add little things here and there. I hate trips like that. Ours is a flat price. We tell you exactly where it's going to be, and it's $39.99. And we stay at great hotels. You're going to be, good food, good fellowship, great teachings. You're going to love it. Our guide has been a guide in Israel for over 25 years. And he is a Gentile believer. Actually, he's from France. He is a wonderful guide. We've been using many, many years, and you will truly be blessed by it. So check out our website, rabbiscott.com, for more information. You can mail us at mail@rabbiscott.com. Again, we're going to be looking at the book, The Return of the Kosher Pig. You're not going to want to miss this. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Messianic Hour. We'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to the Messianic Hour. I'm your host, Rabbi Scott. The show is dedicated to reaching the lost and educating the found. I want to encourage you to go to our website, rabbiscott.com. There you can sign up for our weekly email, and it's produced by our video producer, Shani, and she's doing a great job with him. In fact, I just got a complimentary email back just from one of our listeners saying how much they enjoy the new format. And you can enjoy that too. You'll be able to listen to the show right there online. We give you news from Israel, information that's going on. Check that out. It's rabbiscott.com. We don't inundate you with hundreds of emails. You get one a week. That's it. And when you sign up, you can also sign up for our free book. We give you a free book. I Have a Friend Who's Jewish to You. It's a great way to share your faith and to understand the Jewish mindset. It's a great way to give to a friend of yours if you have an unsaved Jewish friend, as it looks at the Scripture from a historical, scientific, mathematical, and then biblical point of view on the Scripture. It's a great book. It's a free gift just for signing up. We also give you the prophecy card, 70 key prophecies, where they're found in the Torah, where they're fulfilled in the renewed covenant. That's a free gift. All you got to do is sign up at rabbiscott.com. But right now I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine. We met several months ago at a Messiah conference and hit it right off, and he is right up my alley. He loves to share his faith in Messiah, and he loves to deal with the anti-missionary. So it's Rabbi Itzhak Shapira. Rabbi, how you doing today, brother?
Shalom, Rabbi Scott. It's so wonderful to be with you and your listeners. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
And you were actually raised in Israel, that's correct?
Yes, I was raised in the Sharon Valley in a small, mostly religious Sephardic family. I was very, very Jewish, tradition, very traditional, what we call Shomrei Mitzvot, observant Jewish household. That's correct.
So, in a nutshell, how did a good Jewish boy like you come to have faith in Messiah?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. I recall, I'll share a brief story with the listeners. When I was a kid, maybe 7 years old, my heart desire was to be around night, on the round table nights. That was my heart desire. And I recall my mother going to the tailor, and he made me a special costume, for the night, for Purim.
Right.
And when I got there, he gave me a shield, and I look at the shield, and the shield had a cross on it, believe it or not. And I was so upset and offended. I recall just as a little boy running to my grandfather's house and telling him, "You're not going to believe what he did. He tried to give me the cross." So I was raised in an environment 100% Jewish, knowing that this guy, I didn't even knew his name, was Yeshua, does not belong to us. Later on in my life, after raised up in Torah, I was raised in Judaism, really in very strong Jewish upbringing. I was given the Brit HaChadashah one day in America, and I read this book, and it did not convince me, really, to be honest with you. I tossed it. I put it next to the dirty socks. But something festered in me to go back and read the Torah again and the prophets, to see what they say about the Messiah, and not only that, to see what our sages says about the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah, and how we will prepare. So I invest, and I call it an investment, about 20 years of my life in identifying the Jewish Messiah. And through this process, not only that God revealed Himself to me through the Hebrew writings, the Tanakh, and through the prophets, and through the writing of our sages, I found out the truth about the mistake that was made 2,000 years ago. That, in a nutshell, the story.
So now, did you come to faith without reading the New Testament, then reading just the Torah and the Haftorah?
Yeah, believe it or not, I read the New Testament. I'm thinking, that sounds very, very Jewish.
Right.
Everything about this is Jewish. But that was not enough for me, because my upbringing. So I came to a book that was written, believe it or not, in the late 1800s by a man named Rabbi Isaac Lichtenstein, who was a Orthodox Jewish rabbi in Hungary, who came to the faith in the Jewish Messiah. And this particular book started the transformation in my life. He was an Orthodox rabbi who, the way he wrote, spoke to my heart, and that started a process of almost 20 years of me turning every stone within Judaism to find out the true identity of the Jewish Messiah. I did not went to some church and got saved and immersed in some church. I found the truth within Judaism, and that's why this is such an important testimony.
Well, now, what was the name of that book? Do you remember?
Yes, there are two books that that really affected me. One is a small brochure by Isaac Lichtenstein, and the second one is a bigger volume called in Hebrew Limudei HaNeviim, the study of the prophets by a name. It's another Lichtenstein, okay? His name is Yechiel Lichtenstein. He was also a rabbi, and this is a full volume called The Study of the Prophets, where he walked through the entire prophets and showed them the Messiah through rabbinic writing. This particular book was the beginning of the transformation for me.
Wow. Now, is that book in Hebrew or English?
Yeah, it's in Hebrew only.
Okay.
He wrote in Hebrew.
No wonder I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, it's a Hebrew-only book, and that was basically the beginning of me going now over almost 25 years ago, starting the process of looking and trying to find the truth about the Jewish Messiah.
So I got to ask you, I love the front cover. It says, in the Messianic era, when the true divine nature of every creature will be openly revealed, the pig will stand vindicated as a kosher animal. And of course, that's by Rabbi Menachem Schneerson. You got to give our listening audience and viewing audience a little insight on that.
Yeah, I think I assume you're talking now about the book that I just released recently,
yes.
The Return of the Kosher Pig. So to give insight to the listeners, what I have done, I have taken my spiritual journey within Judaism, within what we call the Pardes, the paradise of Judaism, this thing we call Judaism, and I publish the views within Judaism of the Messiah, okay? And that's basically my spiritual journey. That's the work of the Return of the Kosher Pig that we just released. So in this particular piece that you just quoted, we find out this idea within Judaism that the Messiah, first of all, will not only come once, but he will come twice. And interestingly, what prompted me to write this is the idea that there's a scripture in Psalm 146 that represent a mystery. I encourage the listeners to read Psalm 146, 7 and 8. There's a full sermons that were written about this that said that when in the times of Messiah, the pig will become kosher again to our people. And it's interesting. God will change the nature of the pig. And the question is, who is the pig? And interestingly, the word pig in Hebrew means to return. The word pig and returning is the same Hebrew word. And in Judaism, the pig is a representation, amazingly, of the Messiah himself, because he will return back to his people. The first time he will not be kosher, and the second time, upon his return, our sages teach us he will be not only will be kosher, he will become the defenders of Israel. So the entire premise of the book is dealing with this premise that upon his return, he will be kosher again to our people.
Now, when you're saying he's not kosher, kind of explain that to people, because some people are listening going...
Look, if I go, let's say, because I reside, most of the time in the United States, but also in Israel. If I go today to Israel and I mention the name Yeshua, right? Jesus, Yeshua, people will probably spit on me or will get very angry. Today, this name is carrying such a negative connotation to our people. Nobody can deny it. Matter of fact, even his name, Yeshua, the letter Ayin was dropped off, and we call him today Yeshu. His name will be blotted out. That's the name that our people has given him to him. Right. He has been, the Talmud teaches us that the second temple was destroyed because baseless hatred, but it never explained that who the baseless hatred was toward whom. And the thesis of my book is that the baseless hatred was based against Yeshua. Baseless hatred that is even carried to this day today. And I want to bring Yeshua again in a kosher light, or kosher way to our people. Today, the name of Yeshua, and you think about Yeshua, you don't think about Judaism, at least in the eyes of common Israel. But yet, he represents the most perfect Jew, the most kosher Jew. He is the Messiah of Israel, and he have to be perceived in such way among our people, especially in the land.
I'm going to hold your thought right there because we got to go to a hard break. We'll be back right after this break. We're going to be learning more about the kosher pig, Yeshua the kosher pig. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Messianic Hour. I'm your host, Rabbi Scott. This show is dedicated to reaching the lost and educating the found. I want to remind you to go to our website, rabbiscott.com, and sign up for our newsletter. Remember, we also are a listener-supported show. You can also bless Israel by planting a tree in Israel right through our website. You get a beautiful certificate. And also remember to sign up for our trip to Israel, June 9th through the 19th. Join us in the land. And right now we're talking to a dear friend, Rabbi Shapira. His website is kosherpig.org. And I encourage you, go to his website. You want to order this book. It is a fantastic book. It is a must-read if you want to know and understand about the roots of our faith and how we see Messiah revealed all through the Jewish scriptures. This is a book for it. What he's talking about here is so important, and you need to get this so that you can share it with your unsaved Jewish and Gentile friends. So it's like I want to get back to the book. Again, you were raised in in Israel, Sephardic Orthodox background. You come to know Messiah. So I know you wrote this book. And what's been the response from the anti-missionaries? I know they don't like me, so I guarantee you they don't like you.
Well, that is a loaded question. Look. In this book, I want to explain the methodology of the book. Anybody can write a book and point to scriptures. Let's take a basic example. Isaiah 53, Isaiah 9, Daniel 7. Say, look, it's pointing to the Messiah, okay?
Right.
This is not what the return of the kosher pig is. I removed myself completely from any biased opinion. And instead, what we've done, we put Yeshua, as funny as it sounds, we put him on trial, okay? Specifically, his claims to be divine, because at the end of the day, the question of the divinity and his deity is the question that makes him unkosher in the eyes of the Jewish people today. So we look at this question, but we present the evidence through Judaism. Instead of saying, I feel, I believe, I state, I say they feel, they believe, and they state. Right. And who is the they? These are the rabbis of the last 2,500 years. So you can imagine the strong response that we will receive from the Orthodox community. They say, how dare you quote the Talmud or to quote other Jewish sources? You have no authority to do this. And the point of the matter is, look, the Bible still is the undeniable truth, okay? And it's the baseline. I don't believe that they have the monopoly on all Jewish resources, okay? Our rabbis had a lot to say about the Jewish Messiah. So we are engaged in various discussions with anti-missionaries organizations who have been very upset and very offended. But I will tell you the truth. We have done also on the opposite side. We've done lectures in various cities where we had many Orthodox Jews who came and listened and received and digested, because they have never heard the truth presented to them through Jewish eyes. So it's all come with the Torah, and God says, through Isaiah, say, come now, let us reason together. That's what this book is about, reasoning with our people about what have taken place 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And we do know that they are open. You know, I've had to deal with the anti-missionaries. Matter of fact, we have them come into our when our videos for our services are live streamed. We have an open chat room, and they'll try to come in there and disrupt it and try to throw stuff out. And so we've seen their effects, and it's amazing how when you share the scripture with them, how their arguments really get destroyed, because, like you said, the rabbis reveal Messiah time and time again, and that's a key point to understand. When you can keep it on that playing field, being i.e. their playing field, they have a hard time to come back and to respond to it. And I remember a time when I was helping with security at the MJA big conference up in Pennsylvania at Messiah College, and the anti-missionaries had a tent out there, and we went out to see them, and the head person already knew who I was, even though I was a relatively new person in the movement. And I remember one of his guys walked up to me and showed me, he said, we cannot have any graven images of God, and how dare you do that? And I immediately went to Genesis 1:26. I said, now we're not going to talk about the us, but I want to, and I read it to him. It says, we were made in the image of God. And as soon as I made that comment and he saw that, I said, now that we've determined that we are made in the image of God, now we can start talking about the other stuff. And with that, his boss came up to him and whispered in his ear, back off, you're out of your league. And it's really been amazing to see that when you can get them off of their basic script, that their defense really falls apart. Have you seen the same thing?
Yeah, but it's important for our organization. Avat Amim Ministries is an organization. We call it a Kiruv organization, which means we want to bring every Jew closer to Messiah.
Right.
Orthodox Jew, Reformed Jew, a secular Jew. To me, I look at the anti-missionaries organization, to be honest with you, because we deal with them extensively, and I just have pure love for them.
Right.
And I pray that through efforts like your efforts, your radio program, through our organization, the Return of the Kosher Pig, we'll see all of Israel becoming saved. That's at the end of the day what it's about. But it is also important to note that the issue here, the issue at hand, it's defined like this. They say, if the entity in question, in this case is Yeshua of Nazareth, was not there during creation and was not there in Mount Sinai, okay, and you are worshiping and you calling upon his name, then you are guilty of the sin in Judaism that cannot be forgiven. So this is important, not just for us as a Messianic Jews,
right,
but for every believer to know how to defend its faith, to prove that Yeshua was there on Mount Sinai, Yeshua was there in the garden, and Yeshua was there really before the earth was created. The Messiah was there. So really it's important for all of us to know how to defend the faith, yes, to be firm, but also understand that part of this is spiritual, and we're dealing with spiritual
Absolutely.
warfare.
And that website again is kosherpig.org. KOSHERPIG.org. Go to there, order this book. We got about 2 minutes left. I want you in a nutshell. Why should people read this book? What's the reason? What would you say one of the key points that they're going to learn from reading this book? It's a great book, well written, very easy to understand. But you're the author, you share it.
Yeah, I would say that the one thing that is so unique about the Return of the Kosher Pig is that we have brought roughly 400 resources that have been written only in the Hebrew language in the last 2,000 years, that have been never available in English. We brought them into the English language. The process of writing the book took roughly 15 years to put this in place. It will give people the understanding not to know only what our sages said in the last 2,000 years, but also to think as Jews and understand the Bible through methodology that is available, that will not be available unless you've been trained as a rabbi without becoming a rabbi.
Right.
Okay, so we simplify this. And the last and the most important reason is this: we all need to be able to defend our faith. If Yeshua is not divine, okay, and we worship him and we call upon his name, okay, and he's not a manifestation of Yudevai, we ourselves are guilty of the most important crime that Judaism says, Deuteronomy 17:3 says not to do. So it is critical for all of us, Jews and Christians, to know how to defend our faith. That's the bottom line. And then the book give you a different dimension on how to do that.
It's great. This book has a Rabbi Scott seal of approval. It's a must-read. I want to encourage you again, go to the website, kosherpig.org. Check it out. You're going to love it. It's a great book, and it's going to give you a lot of knowledge, a lot of insight that you, like you said, you don't have because it's the first time many of these stories are in English. It's a must-read. Go check that out. Until next week, I want to encourage you again to study the Word, read it, share your faith. Again, RabbiScott.com is our website, kosherpig.org. Go order the book right there. Until next week, this is Rabbi Scott saying shalom and pray for the peace of Jerusalem.